Couple things when you talk about Caleb Love. One, his skill set's been on display for quite a long time. For several years, people have seen him shoot the ball very well. And the thing about being in a slump, and this is going to sound very obvious, but think about it. Only shooters are in slumps. No one says you're in a slump if you can't shoot.
Corey, I was really excited for the last couple of days to talk to you because I wanted to see if you felt this way after watching Caleb Love in that performance, and if this is something that you feel like has always been there. He just doesn't identify it every single game. Caleb comes out and in typical kind of Caleb fashion. Caleb, for as great as Caleb can be, what I do appreciate about him is he doesn't come out and just start chucking from minute one, right? Like he tries to let the game come to him and let everything kind of work, right? What I loved is that he was so aggressive in getting to the basket to start the game and really kind of imposing his will. You could tell, Corey, you know this. Sometimes guys go to the hole and they're just like, I hope or I wish. And there's some people that just, they know, like either I'm scoring or I'm hurting somebody. Like that's just how they feel, right? Caleb had the latter. It just looked like every time he took it to the basket, he was going strong. He wanted to get that and one. He wanted to flex those muscles. And then he took it outside and started hitting some threes and some other shots. And I just thought that's the recipe for Caleb Love moving forward. Like don't even think twice about it. Impose your will at the rim and let it all blend out. Provided they don't just leave you wide open like Oklahoma State did a couple times in that game as well. And he made them pay for it.
Yeah. Couple things when you talk about Caleb Love. One, his skill set's been on display for quite a long time. For several years, people have seen him shoot the ball very well. And the thing about being in a slump, and this is going to sound very obvious, but think about it. Only shooters are in slumps. No one says you're in a slump if you can't shoot. So when you get hit with that phrase, you're in a slump, that's kind of a backhanded compliment. Hey, we know you can shoot, but right now you're not doing it. What's happened for Caleb Love is he's unlocked and he's escaped that narrative about worrying about shots that he misses, and he's embraced a totally different philosophy. I'm going to hoop. I don't care what form that takes. Free throws, post-ups, jump hooks, transition layups. I'm going to come out here and hoop and help my team win. Now, if you lose me or you don't match up, or you fall asleep, yeah, I'm going to hit you over the head with a three. But that's secondary. It's not how I'm measuring my success as a player. Yet so many people saying whether Caleb played good or bad based on whether or not he made threes.
Yeah.
And when that gets into your head and you start to believe I only play good if I make threes, you're done for. Because now that three is so loaded and so weighted and there's so much pressure on it because that's the only barometer that you're using to measure your game. Caleb has abandoned that now. Now he's just hooping. He's getting his layups. And, oh, by the way, you're going to leave me open back to back? Here go 2 threes for you. And now those threes are like knockout punches because he's already doing work, like you said, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, playing physical, playing attack mode. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I still got this three ball that I really want to get off if the situation arises. So Caleb is playing balanced, and he's playing very effective.
Maybe I'm just looking at this from a different lens, but I have not been as down on Caleb this season as I think everybody else has. Strictly for the fact that, yes, maybe at the beginning 8 to 10 games of the season, there was a little too much chucking and ducking, right? But I think he's definitely modified himself. And listen, I don't care if he goes 7 for 16. He should shoot 16 times in a game. He should, especially if they're good quality shots. And a Caleb Love shot 5 feet behind the 3-point line with the defender 3 feet off of him, to me, is still a good shot for Caleb Love. And you got to get that in your mind as you know, as we evolve in this era of college basketball where guys, listen, that 3-point line is sometimes pretty close for a lot of dudes. And so taking a couple steps back and still shooting it and still being able to make it, and he's proved that he can make it in the past, I'm okay with that because to me, I feel like that's a quality shot if the defender's not all up on him. Now, if he's just pulling up one-legged, throwing up stuff, then yeah, of course, that's different. But there was I was looking at a comment and this gentleman pointed out a great play. And I went back to go look for it and I found it. And it was Caleb Love comes down and he sees Carter Bryant and he tells Carter Bryant, go over to the corner. And the whole time he's feeling out the defense, but he's got an eye on Carter. And he knows Carter's going to be open. Catches the ball, skip pass. Carter's wide open, hits his only 3 of the game. And I'm just like, that's a good feel for knowing what the defense was about to give you, where your guy was going to be open at. And that's another step in the evolution of Caleb Love that people don't necessarily recognize all the time. Sometimes they just want to see, did he score 30 points or not? No. Oh, he's playing terrible. We pay him too much money, blah, blah, blah. But he still does other things that contribute to the cause. And I think he started to get away from letting his shooting affect everything else. I think he's starting to raise his game. And I'm okay with the occasional, down shot game. I'm cool with that, as long as he's doing everything else that's needed and still being aggressive at the rim. And I think, again, attacking the paint. You got to get paint touches every single time in the Big 12. If you don't get into the paint at least one time during your possession, you're going to put yourself behind the 8 ball significantly. You have to get into the paint. And I love that Caleb did that this time.
Well, the biggest thing for Caleb Love, the biggest thing that he's done to affect his game is he's watched the McHale Madness podcast. That's what he's done. Because you and I both know 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, stop trying to beat the defense and react to the defense. He's no longer trying to just do what he wants. He's being more analytical. He's looking at these situations. He's taking advantage of the situations that favor him, and he's getting the ball to his teammates in the situations where he draws a double team or he creates a defensive look that frees somebody else up. Now, here's the other thing that a lot of people may not understand. When you played in Arizona or a Duke or a UConn or a Houston or an Iowa State, your shot count is important. Caleb Love is the only player who can expect to shoot 12 to 16 times every night at Arizona because they've granted him that level on the team. His teammates are okay with that. There was a game where KJ Lewis was 4 for 8 and had 8 assists, and he was the best player on the floor. He didn't shoot the most, but he was the reason Arizona won. When you play on a talented team, how many times you get to shoot is very important because you got to spread it around. If you start taking a lot of shots and you're missing, the overall sentiment is, dude, you got better options. You're playing with better. We don't need you to shoot that right now. If you get caught up in this, oh, I'm having a bad night, I'm going to shoot myself out of this slump. You got 4 other teammates standing around like, bro, you're cold. It's not your night. Let us shoulder the weight, move the rock. Guys don't want to sit around and watch another dude work through basketball therapy. It's not on the elite teams because we got enough weapons to beat them anyway. So Caleb Love is taking better shots. He's improved his efficiency, which is good for the team chemistry. Now, I played on teams where there were guys who knew they were going to shoot 20 times. We needed them to shoot 20 times. I don't know that Arizona needs Caleb to shoot 16 to 20 times a game. He can, and no one will get mad at him, but I think we still have a good amount of the fan base that judges him by that 3 ball because it's such a fan favorite. It's so impactful, and that's how they gauge whether or not he's playing well. I look at the fact that the shots that he doesn't take, that logo 3 in a tight game with 4 or 5 minutes to go, I don't need that from you. If you want to shoot that in the first half or you want to shoot that while we're up 20, fine, go ahead. But when you shoot from the logo, what you're saying subconsciously to your teammates is, I think this is a better look than any look that the 4 of you can come up with. And that can be troublesome on top level teams. Because if I'm a qualified guy and I'm standing around and you shooting from 30 feet away and you're cold, bro, we're going to have words in the timeout. I'm sorry, we just are. Because we know we can provide a better, higher percentage look than that. And sometimes Tommy, it's weird for him because he's got to live with that logo 3 when it goes in and he can't jump on him when it doesn't. But you're right. Caleb Love is an enigma because he has the ability to crack a game wide open. He can, in 2 or 3 possessions, put Arizona up double digits. He's that good. But when he's missing, you got 4 other guys standing around who could probably give you a better look than that. So it's It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Listen, I firmly believe this. Even though the other four guys can be solid and they can play at a high level for sure, and from time to time, any one of them can carry a game. I just wholeheartedly believe, and maybe Iowa State will bear this out and we'll find out, but I just have always believed all season long that Arizona is not getting to a Final Four or a national championship if Caleb Love is not playing at a high level. They're just not. The
That's fair.
ceiling is
That's
Caleb
fair.
Love.
That's
Like,
fair.
you know what I'm
I,
saying? So like I can't imagine a scenario if Caleb Love is going 1 for 14 in a game in the tournament that Arizona against elite competition or like in an Elite Eight or a Sweet 16 is going to find its way to get to the Final Four. I just feel like Caleb Love can raise those ceilings all by himself. He needs everybody else to play well as well. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I'm like, yeah, I understand people wanting to bench Caleb Love because of this, that, and the other. I'm like, but the bigger picture isn't this game. It's the
True.
Final Four. How do you get him to where we need him to be at the end of March and in April? That's what we need.
But I'll say this though. The Arizona team that has KJ Lewis, 10 or 11 points, 12 points. Carter Bryant, 10 or 11, 12 points. Del Orso hits a couple threes. Jaden Bradley, 12, 14 points. Caleb Love, 12, 15 points. That Arizona team, they're not losing to anybody. But when you've got 4 or 5 guys that hit double figures, I'll put that Arizona team up against any team in the country. And I've seen a lot of basketball so far this year. And I'm telling you, that that 5-finger approach for Arizona, that's just as good as Caleb Love going bonkers for 30. So I see what you're saying. Caleb Love is the difference maker, no question. But Arizona's proven they can win tough, gritty road games when Caleb Love doesn't explode. So if I'm coaching against Arizona, you're in a weird spot now because in the beginning of the season, it was just shut down Caleb Love and you're fine. Now, all of a sudden, Henry Visar is dunking on people, putting them in the basket. Toby's getting putbacks. Oh my God, Trey Townsend done came out of nowhere. He's emerging. Hell, we seen what Jaden Bradley could do the first nine games of the season. Now, all of a sudden, they got this freshman kid, Carter Bryant, dunking on fools, hitting threes. If I'm scouting Arizona right now, I'm shook because I don't have enough guys to stop their guys. They got 6 guys that can give you 15 like that. That's the Arizona team that'll win 6 games in a row in March and get to the national championship. I would not want to risk the entire season on whether or not Caleb Love shoots 45, 50% from 3. I'd rather take the whole team approach. Now, that's just me. I know people may not agree with it. I know what it takes to win 6 games in a row in March. You got to be solid. You got to be consistent. You got to play defense, and you got to have a little bit of luck. And that little bit of luck might be those Caleb Love bomb threes from the logo. But if 5 guys show up, Arizona can beat anybody.
They can. But Caleb Love playing at a high level certainly makes it a lot easier.
Oh, no question. I mean,
sure.
he's that secret weapon. When, like I said, you have no chance when Caleb Love goes for 25, 30. You have no chance beating Arizona. Arizona will not lose a game when Caleb Love has 25 or 30 points. They won't. You're absolutely right. He is the knockout punch. But if we was in Vegas and you had to lay money on one or the other, what would you lay your money on? Caleb Love, big game, or 5 guys in double figures?
5 guys in double figures.
Most coaches would take that. And the other thing about it is, you ever notice how guys play better defense when they hit a few buckets?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm having a good game. I'm getting blocks, steals. I'm out here hooping. I done got a couple. If you standing around watching the Caleb Love show, it's like, yeah, we're winning, but maybe the switches are raggedy. Somebody get beat back door. Guys get locked in. I mean, they're human, but it's crazy because you're right. We have seen the evolution of this Arizona team. Caleb Love is still the head of the snake. He's still the difference maker. But this is a team that can beat you in a variety of ways. And to this point, I got to give Tommy a lot of credit because Tommy didn't waver and change his system when they were 4 and 5. He just stuck with it. And guys finally started realizing, hey, there's opportunity here. It's on us. We got to raise our level of play. They're running the same exact offense they were running at 4 and 5. The only difference is Guys are more focused. Guys are taking advantage of these opportunities. They're getting the same amount of playing time they were getting 7 games ago, but they're doing more with the time that they're out there. And that's it.